Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to take the choke off now. Now, sometimes if these chokes are still riveted together, these electric chokes, I don't mess with them because if they're riveted on, still riveted, they're usually an adjustment. And I don't like to mess with them in that case. But this one's got Phillips head screws holding it together, and one of them's loose, and maybe both of them. So we need to go ahead and disassemble it. And usually your kit will have new screws in it for that. So I'm just going to take that apart here. Yeah, this thing's not even coming out. There it is. And what happens is these things, people drill them out to get the rivets out, and they kind of tend to strip this metal. So you can do whatever you want to do to fix it. You can put screws in it. You can put like screws that have nuts on the back of them to keep it tight if you need to do that. Just whatever works for you. I don't have any real firm and fast suggestions, except that whatever you use, you need to be sure it keeps the insert tight, because if it doesn't, you won't ever be able to keep your choking adjustment. Alright, there it comes. And it just comes right out. Just a coil spring type deal. Just keep track of that. Let's put it up out of the way somewhere. And inside here, this is just a simple housing, and you don't need to take this little center bolt out. Don't take that one out, just take the larger one out right here. And I try to be kind of slow with this, kind of show you there's a few things going on right here at the same time. Now this linkage you're going to see back behind this choke can be kind of intimidating, but try not to let it be. Just watch what you got. Now I want to tell you something. This right here, this linkage that goes up to the choke plate, I don't know that I can adequately explain it to you, but when you look down in here, you've got a little link. This comes down to like a little metal link, and there's where this choke shaft goes in. That link rides on the end of that choke shaft. It's indexed to it. It's squared off on one side, which you'll see. But this will not come out until you get the choke housing off. So let me go ahead and get the bolt out of here. And I usually try to put this bolt over by itself so I remember what it's to. See, it's kind of a long bolt. Now, when you pull this off here, this is quite the assembly, so we're not going to mess with that right now. We're just going to take a look at this. Now I suggest to you, don't disassemble this. Don't try to disassemble it because there's no need in it. It's possible, but see, it's all held together by that center little thing. And like I said, if you're pretty anal about it and you just want to take it apart, be my guest, but I don't take them apart. I just soak them and clean them and put them back together as is. And I'll set that over there. Now, when you pick this thing up here, I hope we can see this clearly. This is what's on the end of it. You see that? Now this part right here, it kind of sits in there like this. And this, see that squared off hole, the indexed hole, that's where that choke shaft right there that I just pulled out, that's what operates that. And this just slips in and out. There's nothing holds this. There's no clip or anything, because there's not enough space in here for this thing to pop off. So it hits the wall of the carburetor before it has room to come out of here. So that's how that works. Sounds kind of goofy, but it works. But the thing is, when you put this thing back together, you got like a little magic act you got to do. You got to sit here and be able to get that thing down in there and get this choke stuck in there and it in there at the right spot where it's connected, you know. It's easy not to do it right, so be sure you do it right. What you may want to do, sometimes I take a little bit of electrical tape that I can get back loose and just kind of wrap this so it's kind of stays in one spot. Not a whole lot, just enough to keep it in one spot, and that helps a whole lot. So we'll do that later on, I'll see. Now, some of these have I know the hot air chokes for sure have a little small rubber seal here, and I don't know if this one will have it or not. It does, right behind where the shaft goes in. So, you see that? be sure you put the new one back in there when you reassemble the carburetor. Well, that thing's gummy. Alright. Now we're going to go ahead and do the last things inside the carburetor, which is take the jets out of it. The jets are right here. Right here and here. Now sometimes on a really old carburetor, they're stuck in there and you can't hardly get them out. Don't ruin them. If they won't come out reasonably, just leave them. And just do your best to clean them. Leave them in there. Just soak the heck out of it. There's one jet. 2 jets. And there's a adjustment right here for your power piston height. I don't normally mess with that because I'm not on a stock carburetor. Usually the factory kind of knows what they're doing with it. So let me show you something right here. On the side of this carburetor, there's a piece of linkage here, which of course you'll use again. Boy, see how that's spaghetti? That's why I think they got the wrong one of those vacuum brakes on it. But right here is something that you guys all help yourselves in the long run. This is if you can look here and see, hopefully it'll show up. Pay close attention to this. This little piece of metal here, this linkage. See how it's right here? This is a secondary butterfly shaft, and it's got this pin sticking out. And see how that thing's against it, keeping it from moving? Well, GM had a bright idea that they didn't want people trying to kick in the 4-barrel before the choke opened up. But sometimes, if your choke's not adjusted just right, it'll keep it from keep your 4-barrel from kicking in. So we don't want that. We always want the 4-barrel to kick in whenever we want it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this little thing off and do this with it. Now your 4-barrel will open up whenever you want it to. Alright. Get my thing here to catch some more gas. Now all we got left to do on this thing, guys, is take the base plate off. Now 2 bolts, the 2 long bolts that we took off at the back, they actually go into the base plate. They help hold it on, but you got 3 left here. You got 1, 2, and 3. Nope. Now these are different sizes than the ones that hold the air horn on, so keep them segregated. Whew! Love those gas fumes. Somebody somehow bent that connector over there a little bit. Alright, let's keep these, like I said, keep these kind of separated somewhere. Alright, now you want to separate this, and like I said, be careful what you can do. You got a little bit of a lip right here, right under where this fuel filter housing is. Just gently, doesn't take much, pry it loose. Huh, look at that. I found an Allen key in there. It was caught down in the choke housing. Or the choke linkage. Wow. So yeah, you got a gasket on the bottom. Just pull that off. Keep it for reference when you get your new kit. That's all there is to it. Now, there's been a lot of discussion and claims that these main well plugs leak on these carburetors a lot, all the time, and they just mess up everything. But think that's a lot of hearsay. In fact, I'm going to show you right here. If I can. Well, I don't need to move it off there. I'll just hold this up. This little pole right here is where these two sit. These are right above here. And as you can look, this is dry as can be. And the small ones here, they go over right here. And I'm just looking at them. They're also completely dry, no leakage, because these are spun in. And this is, used to, the early ones would leak, but after this, up in the 80s, as long as they've been making the carburetors, they got that stopped for the most part. But just to relieve people's minds on this, we're going to fix this with JB Weld. They probably don't need it, but we're going to seal them anyway, just to show you guys how to do it, because I think most people want to. So that's what we'll do. Alright guys, this thing is apart. You can see there's really not that much to taking one of these things apart. It's no big traumatic experience or anything. Just got the base plate, and you got the main body left, and you have your air horn. And like I said, some folks may be a little bit more particular about taking some things apart, but I don't ever take these butterflies or anything like that out, because these kind of, they have ends made onto them on the bottom that you have to grind off, or else they'll twist the bolts off, because I didn't want the bolts backing out ever, obviously, because they go down in the engine and ruin it. So that's that. Now you can check your throttle shaft, see how worn they are. This one's got a little bit of wear in it, but it's nothing major, nothing to worry about. Sometimes you can take this little piece of linkage out, which I just did. Help you with your cleaning. So now all you need to do is you need to clean this thoroughly. Get you a can of the carburetor cleaner, and you can usually pour it out. You may want to get 2 of them, but it's kind of expensive. But you just need to clean it, soak it for a few days. Don't be in a rush to do this, because that stuff is not as stout as it used to be, and it takes longer to work. So what I'm going to do first is I'll take this out and I'll spray this down with a brake cleaner. Spray all of it down with brake cleaner and get all the heavy gunk off of it, and then soak it for a couple days. And then we'll put it back together and go get a kit from the parts store. And there's no recommendations on the kit. I like to use these, I think it might be a Walker makes a pretty good kit. And the other ones, they're usually all the same. They probably all come from the same place. So just get a good, decent kit. And be sure you get all your gasket surfaces clean. And be gentle cleaning them. Don't put any gouges in them. Don't drop anything. You see, you got a pile of parts here, but they're really, guys, I mean, it's nothing. Don't be scared of this, because there's really not 2 things in here except for these bolts. There's not 2 things in here that look alike. So, you know, your rebuild kit will have an exploded diagram on it anyway. So, and of course, if you get stuck, you can always message me and I'll try to help you out with it. But yeah, so we'll get this cleaned up and let it soak for a while, and I'll start making more videos when we get ready to put it back together. So yeah, guys, stay tuned. Y'all been wanting to see this, so I hope this will help you. I think there's some good carburetor videos out on YouTube, but maybe this one will be added into your list of preferred videos. I hope it does. I hope I do a good video. So, okay, I'm going to get this outside and get cleaning on it, and we'll be back later on when we get ready to put this whole Quadrajet together. Thanks, guys, for watching. Please be sure to ask any kind of questions you need to. Always glad to answer questions, and help educate other people about these carburetors. They have a bad reputation, and I don't think it's deserved. So, and also, let me show you real quick, just a refresher. Carburetor number. Remember, we made videos on this before, but it's always on this vertical strut back here on the left rear. This one is 17086-425. That decodes to a 1986 Dodge 360, either in a van or a pickup. 1700. 170 is the new series, the after 75 model series. 8 is the decade. 6 is the year in the decade. And 4 is the application. And well, the 425 really, you know, they just can be broken down into 3 different things, but 425 is usually your whole application number. So, but watch those videos on the Decode Your Quadrajet if you have a lot more questions on that. All right, guys, wrap it up. So, sure enjoyed doing these videos for you. Glad you watched. Glad you get a kick out of it. Hope it helps you guys and maybe help give these old Quadrajets a better reputation and help people to learn how to work on them and not be too scared of them, because they're not scary. I like working on them. You know, this thing took what, 3/4 of an hour to take apart slowly. So yeah, stay tuned. We'll do more. Bye.